Hey, what's going on guys? Steve in China here, and in this video this is actually a response to a lot of you who actually struggle to get started and want to learn how to set up your very first blog. So stick with me and I'll show you how. Okay guys, before we get more involved, I want to show you what blogs like these have allowed me to achieve. It's allowed me to quit my job in retail that I absolutely hated by the 5th year. It's helped me move over to where I am today in China, and I've been able to start several businesses. It's also allowed me to do things that I've always wanted to do my whole life, which is travel to different countries, experience different cultures, and spend more time doing things the way I've wanted instead of having a boss tell me what they want me to do. I'm so much healthier than before because I can spend more time working out and I can afford eating healthier. And one of the biggest passions is to support charities. Like for now, I'm supporting UNICEF, and that really makes me proud that I can also give back. Now in this tutorial that we're actually going to go through, I'm going to show you how to create your first blog step by step. So we're going to go through and purchase a domain, we're going to go and get hosting, and we're going to get everything set up and customize it so that way it looks really good. So from the beginning, you have a professional setup, so when people come to your website, they'll take you seriously. Secondly, we're going to go through how to start building a loyal following. So this is actually one of the things that a lot of people don't cover and don't see. But before you actually really get into blogging your heart out, you really need to research your audience. You need to figure out the topics that they are having trouble with and the kind of information they're seeking out. And you want to really put some effort into creating the content that is going to help people to resonate with you. They're going to want to come back and read your blog on a regular basis, and they're going to want more information than you have to tell. Then finally, we're going to go over how to monetize your blog. So it makes it a lot more fun creating blog posts and creating content for your audience when you're actually making money for that. And what's good about this is that you won't have to do it in that hypey way, you know. And you don't even have to pursue it if you don't want to be in the internet marketing niche. There are a lot of things out there amongst the several different hobbies that people have. But whatever niche you actually want to go after, I'm going to show you how to actually go out there and do the research. So that way you get the content that people want in front of them, and then you can follow up by actually making money from your passion. So let's go ahead and get set up and actually go through how to do everything. So basically the first two things of getting our website online is getting a web host. Now a web host is basically where all your files are stored. It's where you upload your website. It's where you upload your images, and that's how everything shows up online. I've used various web hosts, and I would have to say that Bluehost has been the most reliable one for me, followed by HostGator. Now the one reason I'm recommending it to you is because you want a web host that you can grow with. So as you're building your website, as you're building your brand to get more and more traffic, you're going to need to get a web hosting package that can handle that traffic. The great thing with Bluehost is when it gets to that point, you can simply upgrade to handle the traffic, and by that point you'll be making money that it becomes a very small investment compared to the profit you'll be making. Now what you're actually going to want to do is click on the link below this video, and it's going to bring you up to this page. And then go ahead and go to the sign up now page. Now it's going to cost around $5.95 a month, and you don't need one of the advanced packages like on the business package. The simple $5.95 a month package will be all you need, so you can just click on select. Now from here what you're actually going to do is enter your domain name. Now the one great thing about Bluehost is that compared to other web host providers where you need to buy a website name or a domain name at a separate place like GoDaddy or Namecheap, by using Bluehost you're actually going to get a free domain when you sign up. So I'm just going to come up with a random name. I'm not too sure if this will even be available, so let's try Successful Solo Ads, since I run a solo ads business as well, and hit next, then see if that's available. And what it's going to do is it's going to bring up and let you know if it's available or not, and it looks like it is, so we'll just go ahead and stick with that domain name. So you may have to type in a few different ideas depending on what you want for your domain name. Maybe it will be available, maybe not. So just type in a few different ones until you find out the one that works, and then you're going to go ahead and fill out all your information here. So you pick the account plan you want, and the longer that you sign up for from the different packages, then the cheaper it becomes. So you can get bigger plans which cost more, but I would suggest starting out with one of the smaller plans in the beginning, such as the $5.95 a month plan. This is going to be all you really need, and you don't really need anything big when you're first starting out. It's always better to start small and then upgrade as you go, okay? Now the next thing I want to talk to you about is the SiteLock domain security. You don't need this. You don't need Site Backup Pro. You can get it if you want, but basically it's where they're going to have an extra service for backing up your site, and you don't need the search engine jumpstart. The domain privacy, I mean, that's completely up to you. I personally don't use this on my own personal domain, but what this does, and it's only $10 a year, so it's not too bad, but essentially what it does is that if you don't want your personal information out there, so if someone wants to look up, for instance, stevenchina.com, they can get their personal address, my name and everything it's registered to. So if that's something you don't want to show up on the internet, then you're going to want to go ahead and purchase that. It's only $10 a year, so it's not very expensive. So just go ahead and pick which package best suits you. Fill out your information and sign up. Then once you sign up, you're going to get login information delivered to your email. And then you can go ahead and log into the back end of Bluehost, and that's going to look something like this. So when you come to Bluehost, you're going to come to this screen and you'll have all these different options. Now the one thing that I'm going to tell you right now is you don't really need to pay attention to all this stuff, because it's not stuff that you're really going to know at all. A lot of people get overwhelmed when they log into the back end, and there's no point in it because you won't be using this stuff if you're not much of a techie anyway. And then once you get to this screen, you're just simply going to select the domain, and to begin with, you're probably only going to have one in the back end. You just want to go ahead and select the one that you have, and you're just going to hit the button to install WordPress. Now as you're going to see right now, this is what your basic website is going to look like when you install it. So it's just a blank install of WordPress, and what you want to do from here is actually log into the back end of your dashboard, so that way you can edit everything. Now how you're actually going to get to that is that you should have had an email with a link after you install Bluehost, and it will let you go straight into the login screen. But if you're at this point or any time in the future that you want to log into your site, a simple way is to go to the end of the URL and type in /wp-admin. And this is going to take you to the login screen. So you can enter your username and your password, and then you'll be able to log into the back end. Now, once you come into the back end, it's going to look something like this. It's very simple. You have post, media, pages, appearance, plugins, users, tools, and you have settings. We'll go through this in just a minute and set up a few things in the back end to get your site up online. So now in this step, we want to go ahead and add a custom theme. You can do the free themes that I'm going to show you real quick before we actually add a custom theme. But in the free themes, you're kind of limited. And one thing you're going to want to know is that with a lot of these free themes, the coding isn't that great and there's not much flexibility. So what I mean by that is a lot of these people that design the themes, and the main reason they do this is that they have their links in the footer. So basically it's for SEO or search engine optimization purposes, and a lot of times the code isn't that great and they don't update the themes. But if I was going to use a free theme, I would use the stock ones by WordPress. Now where you actually go to change the themes is appearance and then themes. Now you have a few different themes to choose from by default, and these are all the default WordPress ones. There is a 2013, which is the one we're on now. There's a 2014, which is a little bit fancier. So it's a decent looking theme and you can do some different stuff with it. And then there's one for 2012. So if it was me and I was going to use a free theme, I would use one of these until I had the money. If you're just starting out with your blog, you don't have that much money to invest, I would suggest to start out with one of these free ones. However, to get a premium theme by a really good coder, they give you updates, they constantly make sure the theme is up to date, and the only one that I really suggest to you is OptimizePress 2.0 and Thesis, which is made by DIY Themes. What I love about OptimizePress is that other than creating a premium authority blog, you can also create high converting landing or squeeze pages, sales and marketing pages, webinar registration pages, product launch pages, and tons of other great stuff. And if you're not tech savvy, I personally couldn't recommend OptimizePress enough. In fact, this site is built on OptimizePress and it's so easy to put together, you shouldn't have any problems with it at all. I've used these themes on numerous websites and I've used them on my own personal sites. StephenChina.com is actually currently on a different theme. However, I've customized so many things with it over the years, but in general, tons of people use OptimizePress and Thesis, as well as a lot of affiliate sites. But the reason I use these two, one, they're highly customizable and very user-friendly, otherwise I wouldn't be able to use them. And two, they constantly update them, they constantly improve in them, and they are very popular for online marketers these days. So that's why I stick to those. I don't like getting any of the cheaper WordPress themes that are like $20 because a lot of the times it's more of a, you get what you pay for. And if you don't update them and then WordPress comes out with an update like they usually do, your theme won't work right. And if you update it, because you want to keep updating WordPress because of the updates for security and stuff like that. So if you're going to get a premium theme, I suggest OptimizePress or Thesis. So go ahead and add a premium theme. But first, if you actually wanted to install free themes, you can actually go to Appearance, and then under Themes, along the top, you can click on WordPress themes. So for example, as you can see right here, you can just select from different stuff. So if you wanted 2 columns, you want a custom menu with a full width template, you can just check to see what you want and then find that particular theme from there. And basically what it's going to do is it's going to go out there and pull from the database from all the different free themes, and then you can scroll through and choose one. But like I said, some of these developers don't use much thought process into creating these, and me personally, I wouldn't use them because of the fact that you just don't know whether that you can trust them or not. It's completely your choice, but hand on heart, I would always say to invest in a premium theme. So what you want to do before you go back to this theme option, we want to add a new theme, and it would be the same process. So if we're going to add a premium theme, now on the upload screen, you're just going to go ahead and choose Browse. And then basically when you buy a premium theme, it's going to give you a download or a zip file. So all you need to do is find that zip file that you downloaded, select your theme and accept that. Then from there it will start to upload. Now with basic themes, you could end up having either a different setup, and in most cases you have limitations. If you're experienced with WordPress, then great, but if not, then just keep things simple and continue to follow along. I always like to customize and have the flexibility, which is why OptimizePress and Thesis would be ideal. So for this, we'll go ahead with OptimizePress. So the first thing you would do is go ahead and activate this. Now you're going to see that it's changed a bit. Now don't get too worked up, this is just the basic setup. Okay, so now moving on to the next step, we're actually going to go ahead and customize this and make it look a little bit better. So what you want to do is click on the sidebar where it says OptimizePress and then Blog Setup. Now from here, the very first step is to simply choose your theme or design layout. So I'll go ahead and select theme 1 and then continue to the next step. Now step 2 is the branding process. So the first thing you want to do is click the first tab where it says set up your blog header. And from here you can upload your logo, or if you don't have a logo set up just yet, you may want to use a default logo just for now. And then to do that, we simply go to select file, then media library. Then if you scroll down a bit, you will see these sample logo images, and just select any one of them for now by clicking on show. And then if we scroll down again, then hit insert into post, and that's pretty much it. You also have the option to use a banner image instead, but for this example, I'll just stick to this logo. Okay, so now that's done, we can move on to step 3, and here is where you'll configure the basic layout. So for sidebar column preferences, you have the option to decide whether you want the sidebar on the right side or on the left side, and just underneath that, you can change the sidebar width. But for now, I'll just leave this as it is. Then the next tab you'll see is Header and Navigation Preferences. And just underneath here, you can change numerous things such as the color of your text and the color of your links, etc. Everyone's going to have a different perception of what they want their blog to look like. So this is another reason why OptimizePress is really user friendly. But I won't do anything here for now, so I'll just scroll all the way to the bottom to where it says Footer Preferences. And if you want to change the number of columns in your footer, then you have the ability to do that right here. So once you've made all the changes you want to have, just go ahead and continue to step 4. Now here's where you can start adding some really useful features. We actually want to make the blog look a little bit better. So one thing I'm going to suggest, no matter what niche you're in, I understand that a lot of you following me are probably in the internet marketing or network marketing niche. You're definitely going to want to put heavy focus on actually building your email list. Now, one of the things that you need to understand is that when your customers come to your blog or the readers come to your blog is that if they decide that they're just not interested, or maybe they're interested and they like your content, a lot of times people leave your blog and they don't bookmark it, or if they don't save somewhere like in their RSS feed, they're never going to come back. They'll most likely forget about you. They'll be onto somebody else. And that's why you want to put a heavy focus on building your list so you can get people onto your email newsletter. Now I'm going to show you how my blog is set up, and you can see the similarities of how the blog is structured. The only difference is myself and a developer put this blog together, and you'll notice numerous custom features. However, you can have most of this done later on, and if I'd known about the new Optimized Press sooner, then I think all my sites would be using it. But what you're going to want to notice is that on the right side I have a custom form, and one thing I'm going to tell you now is that I built most of my lists with an autoresponder called GetResponse. I also use Aweber, but Aweber is kind of known for canning people's email lists. So say for example, if you get too many spam complaints, it doesn't matter what niche you're in, sometimes people just have a bad day and hit the spam button, or they forget that they're even on your email list and then they hit the spam button. Too many of those will get your list deleted, and this happens time and time again. But I'm going to use GetResponse in this tutorial just for simplicity, and to show you how to incorporate GetResponse with an opt-in form on the sidebar by using Optimized Press. So in this kind of industry, your email list is everything. So for me personally, I build and email my list mainly on GetResponse. Now with that being said, if you're not going to use Optimized Press, you could have a custom opt-in form made for $5 on Fiverr.com. Then go ahead and hook up whichever autoresponder you have. I've never preferred using free opt-in forms, so this is another reason why I highly suggest Optimized Press is the way to go, because it's just going to make your life so much easier and so much faster. So if you want your site to look a little bit more professional, it goes a long way to have a custom opt-in form. But like I mentioned before, you can go on Fiverr and have something similar, really simple, and just put the code in and it will show up if you decide not to use Optimized Press. But let's get back on track to using GetResponse and Optimized Press. And what we're going to want to do is we're going to go ahead, and now we're just actually going to build a simple opt-in form to go on the sidebar of our new blog right here. So we're going to go ahead and set it up in GetResponse, which is really simple to set up. So if we just go to the back end and go to Optimized Press, then you'll want to go to the tab where it says Email Marketing Services. Now from here you can select your autoresponder, and the one I'm looking for is GetResponse. Now you see here it's asking for your GetResponse API key. This is basically going to configure Optimized Press with your GetResponse account. So what we need to do is log into GetResponse, and then you want to go to My Account, Account Details, and then use GetResponse API. Then all you need to do is simply copy that API key, go back to WordPress and paste it in. And then at the bottom, click Save Settings. Now under the Optimized Press tab, then you'll want to go to Blog Settings. Then once that comes up, go to Modules. And now you want to select Sidebar Opt-in. So the first thing you want to do here is click on the integration type, and we can select GetResponse. Now if you hadn't done the API key step, you won't be able to select it under the integration tab, so it's important to get that done in order for this to work. So now once you've selected GetResponse for the integration, you can select the list you want the subscribers to sign up to. Right now it's named a default list, but later on I would rename it into something like blog subscribers so that I can also track where people are coming from. And then in the next step you would simply specify a custom thank you page. You can use the free page that GetResponse provides, but I always like to provide my own. So just put this one right here, which is a page you may have seen before about me and some call to actions. But this is the one I use, and this will redirect people to this page after they opt in. Okay, so now if you go to color scheme, here is where you can actually customize your form very easily just by selecting the different styles, and you can customize colors, etc. So for now, I'll just go with style 6, I think. Okay, that looks good. Then under the content, here is where you can change the headline and some of the other text. But for now, I'll just leave it as default because I'm sure you get the point. Then finally, you can go to submit button and you have a choice of whether to use the default button, create a custom button, and you can also upload your own. And let me just show you what the create a custom button feature looks like. So here you can change the text, font size, colors, etc. Pretty much everything. So I really like that feature in OptimizePress. For now, I'll just go back and select use default button. And then for the text, I'll just put something like sign up today. Okay, now let's save that. Now, before we go anywhere else, you need to do 2 more things. First, you need to check that the sidebar opt-in tab is switched on to green. Then the last thing you'll have to do is on the left side, go to appearance and wait for the drop down to appear, then select widgets. Okay, now you'll notice that there's currently nothing being displayed in the sidebar. So what you want to do is find the OptimizePress sidebar widget and drag that straight into the sidebar box and then click save. Okay, so now we can go ahead and go to our blog's homepage and we'll just refresh the site. And now you can see that the opt-in form is on the sidebar. Now, obviously, if you want to adjust the size and stuff like that, you can always go back in and do that. So you may have to play around with it just for a bit and just to try and get it right. But for now, I'm just showing you how to quickly customize your site and get it looking pretty good. So we have a sidebar on the site, but maybe you want to add a little bit more. So something we can do is place an advertisement banner just underneath our opt-in form. So in order to do that, you want to go back into blog settings, modules, and then select advertising. And for now, we'll just select sidebar. Now, there's a variety of banners that you can use. And in this case, we'll just use large add 1. And the first thing you'll notice is the requirements for the banner dimensions. So make sure that your banner is the same dimensions. Otherwise, it will look too squishy and not desirable to click. So what I'm going to do now is use this banner space to promote MOBE, you know, My Online Business Empire or My Online Business Education. And some of you who are with me may also want to do the same. So I'll click on select file, choose my MOBE banner. And once that's uploaded, you can enter in your MOBE link or whatever it is you want to promote. Okay, then finally go ahead down to the bottom and save settings. Then go back to the widgets page. And now what you want to look for is the OptimizePress sidebar advertising block. Then just drag that underneath your sidebar opt-in. And that's it. Now if we just go back to the blog homepage and refresh. And there it is. We now have our ad banner set up. So now we have a site that looks pretty good. And the one thing that we're probably going to want to get is the social media icons. So for this, we'll go back. And now where it says plugins, after the drop down, you'll want to select add new. Now where it says search plugins, we're going to want to type in dig, and that's dig with 2 G's. And what it is, it's a pretty popular social sidebar. So once you've found it, select install now. And why do we want to do this? So we want to put a lot of emphasis on getting people to share your content. And as you create different content for people, you want to get them sharing it. Then after we have that installed, let's quickly activate the plugin. Okay, so now go to dig, and from here we want to go ahead and submit the different stuff that we want. So obviously you're going to need to go through here and put your information in, so that way everything is correct, like put in your Twitter name and all the information that it needs. And then finally save changes, and we'll go ahead and see if that shows up. And if I just select the dummy blog posts here, as you can see now, we have our social sidebar on the side. Then when you actually make blog posts now, the social bar will show up on the side. And as you scroll down now, you can also specify how it scrolls with the page. So you can also make it so that way it's closer to the left, or you might want to move it so it's closer down to the middle of the page. and it stays there. So just play with the settings and get it just how you want it. Now, as you're going to see, it's very simple. The more customization you want, you'll need to go to plugins and find the different plugins you want. How I actually did it was I went to people's websites and see what they were actually using, and I would just figure out what kind of plugins they were. So if they were using a social share bar, I would just go and do a search, find out what I need, and I would just start to customize my site. Now, in these final steps, we're going to want to go ahead and learn how to create new posts and pages. So that way you can start getting some content on your blog. Now, of course, when you get done with this tutorial, I'm going to suggest to you to go through and just start playing around with WordPress, learning how to tweak your blog, make some customizations, etc. And in time, a person can figure out how to use it. So let's go into the back end of our site again. And in order to create new pages, I want to show you that right here is posts and right here is pages. And it's the same process. You basically want to highlight the tab and then select add new. And before we continue to this step, I just want to help clarify on what posting pages are. So right now, if I just go to the home page of our site, and when we create a new post, what's actually going to happen is this one goes down and the new post replaces it above. And for pages, they're actually static, so they don't actually move, they stay in one place. Now usually your pages are going to be linked up here, which is going to be your navigation bar. And then sometimes people like to put these links on the side to specific pages wherever they want to guide their users to. So that being said, let's just go back on this post and let's call this, okay, oh my god, what a post. And I've prepared some dummy text just for this. So I'll just quickly copy that in. Okay, now the next thing you want to take notice of is this visual and text feature. Now, if you're completely new to this, then just make sure you stay in visual, because if you don't know any type of HTML or anything like that, which is basically diving into coding, because you probably won't know what you're doing and the code is going to look a little bit weird to you. So you would just go ahead and write out your post, and then you can write it out in Notepad and copy and paste it in here, or you can write it out in the editor here. Now I'm going to show you, say for some reason we put in this post and we want to space stuff out. So you would just hit enter and then space, and then come down here and then space this one out right here. So you just want to get it so that way it looks good and you know, the way that you like it. Now the one thing I want to let you know is to never just go ahead and publish a post before actually checking it out. So what I do is save draft and then preview, just to make sure I like it before actually posting it. So if we right click on preview and open this up in a new tab, then now you can see right here how the text is. So obviously you probably want to space this out a little bit more just to make sure everything is styled the way you want it. And then also if you want to add an image, then you can add an image by going to add media. And in OptimizePress, you can go to where it says add element. And if we just scroll down, you can see that there are a lot of great features you can add into your posts, like custom call to action buttons, which are very ideal for when you're doing reviews and stuff like that. And here's an option to use a countdown timer, which is also another great feature proven to boost conversions for when you're running a limited sale or a webinar. And even like I mentioned earlier, you can simply add in the opt-in box at the bottom of your posts like I do. And all these things are done in a simple step-by-step click process with OptimizePress. So for now, let's just add an image and just find the image on your computer that you want to use, and then you can insert that into your post. So I'm just going to upload one I already have prepared. Okay, so now the image is there. So let's just save that as a draft, and then we'll just go and preview it again to see if everything looks good. Now as you can see, it wraps around the text, and now we can just go ahead and publish that. Now as we refresh the front page, you're going to see that our new post shows up, and this would essentially be your first post. And one more thing that I want to show you how to do that will really liven up your blog post, and that's to add a featured image. So right now you can see the dummy post looks pretty dull and boring. So what we want to do is go back and then select posts. Now in order to set up a featured image for our blog post, scroll all the way down to the bottom, and on the right hand side you'll see featured image. Now just open that up and upload the featured image. And once that's done, go to the bottom and click Set Featured Image. Now all that we have to do is go back to our home page, refresh, and there we go, much more appealing, and you want to do this every time you create a new post. Okay, so now let's go ahead and create pages and navigation. And this time we're actually going to add pages, and then we're actually going to go ahead and set up our navigation, so that way we can direct people to the pages that we want. Now to go ahead and speed up this tutorial, I've already gone ahead and created some dummy posts for the pages. So if you just wanted to create new pages, it would be exactly the same process as adding a post. So what you do is you go ahead and set up your content. So things like your contact us page or your about me page, any other pages that you want to link up in your navigation. Once you've done that, what you want to do is highlight appearance and then select menus. Now once you come to menus, you might want to set up a menu by default. So you can call it whatever you want. I just usually name it home and then select create menu. And then from here, what you actually want to do is go here on the sidebar and select all the pages you want to show up in your navigation. Then click add to menu and then save it. Now the final step is to go ahead and go to where it says links. And you want to create a home button. So that way when people click on the home button, it takes them back to the main page. So what you want to do is copy the link to your blog and then go back to the link text, type in home and then add to menu. And this will make it so that way when people actually click on the home button, it takes them back from anywhere on the site. Now some people have asked me in the past, how can I move my menu around? So in that case, to move them around, all you need to do is click and drag those in whatever order you want them in. And then finally click blog primary menu. And at this point your site is pretty much complete. So now if you're going to see, if we just quickly refresh, we now have our menus to take us to different pages. There is nothing here at the moment, but if there was content, then we would go here and then click home and it would take us back to our main page of the blog. Now finally, if you're watching this on YouTube and you want to see the full tutorial on how to monetize your blog, how to do market research so that way you can find the content that people are looking for, then go ahead and click the link in the description to read the full post and then go over to the full tutorial. And if you got a good insight from this and you got a lot of value out of this, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Alright, so that's it for this video. This is Steve from steveinchina.com, and if you have any questions, just leave a comment below. Thanks guys.